we are mildly interesting guys, and we talk about some stuff. So welcome to the podcast, we call it Joel the Podcast. It's Alex and it's Alex, here for Joel the Podcast. Hello everybody, I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast,
Joel.
Welcome to episode 33. We're here with our first podcast of... Is this our first podcast of February? I guess not. Last week was February. We're here with our second podcast of February 2020. By the way, I guess I should start off, now that I've just said that, by saying I have been paying somewhat attention to people saying the word 20 to see how they say it now.
Yeah.
I did hear one person say 20.
Really?
Yeah, he's like a very precise speaker, though. Like, he just speaks in a way that enunciates all his words very clearly. But he did say 20. I've heard a few, and then other than that, it's kind of been a relatively even split between 20 and 20.
Relatively even. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that it would be that close between.
Yeah, I feel like it's just something you don't notice.
Yeah. I, of course, forgot about that pretty much immediately after we recorded it. So
well, that's fair
I
enough.
have no real world commentary about it.
Yep. All right, so, yeah.
Obviously, we didn't post that episode, so none of our listeners had anything to say about it yet.
So getting to the next step, I just wanted to let everyone know that Nathan does not owe me $1. And now on to sports. So there's quite a few sports to talk about. So I'll try and keep it brief. But Purdue absolutely demolished Iowa on Wednesday. Scored over 100 points.
Tommy Luce came into the game for the last few minutes and drained 2 3-pointers.
He came in with 5 minutes left in the game, which is absurd.
Yeah, let me tell you, Wednesday was a pretty emotional day for me. Not only did Iowa come into Mackey and roll over and die, I also watched the finale of The Good Place.
Oh, nice.
So that, very, very good. I won't say anything because obviously probably some people who are listening to this haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it.
Yeah, here's
the rest of the show. But
here's my non-spoiler comment about the finale of The Good Place.
Yeah.
I feel like with how quickly they did plot stuff and how hyped the finale was, I felt like I was going to be kind of disappointed. Like, pretty much, unless it was like an amazing thing. But it ended up being like kind of what I expected, but still pretty satisfying, I feel. Like I ended up not really being disappointed, so.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a good finale.
It was.
So yeah, like Nathan said, if you haven't seen The Good Place, go watch it. It's pretty short. There's only 4 seasons, and each season is 13 episodes, and each episode is 20 minutes, so. I literally am never going to be able to say the word 20 again. All right.
Luckily, I'm going to forget in about 5 minutes. I'll be fine.
All right. Lucky you. So moving on, the Super Bowl happened.
Whoa, hold on. That wasn't the only Purdue game, though.
Oh, yes. And Purdue
went to Indiana with Bob Knight in attendance and beat Indiana at Indiana. It was everything I wanted out of that game.
Yep. By the way, I found out why Bob Knight hasn't been back to IU in 20 years before this.
Why is that?
Shit, I just said 20. Turns out that when he got fired, he was pissed that he got fired. And he didn't he wasn't happy with IU as an organization, and so he hadn't been back before now.
I
But
see.
anyway,
Very, very dramatic. He makes his grand reappearance and loses to Purdue.
yep.
I mean, he doesn't, but all the rest of IU does, and that is good news for everyone. Congratulations to Purdue. I really hope you've turned the corner on your performance this season. You're going to start just winning the rest of your games right up until the round of 32. That way, I do not lose $1 to Alex.
Would you really rather have Purdue lose in the round of 32 and for me to owe you $1?
Absolutely not. That is nowhere near what $1 is worth to me.
Good. All right. So yes. So Purdue, I think by projections right now would be a 9 or 10 seed in the tournament,
Yep.
which is good. I think in the past we were saying that they wouldn't be in the tournament. So hope they're playing a home game against ranked Penn State. So being ranked at Purdue has been a death sentence for teams so far. So Michigan State destroyed, Iowa destroyed, Penn State is next.
Right. It's only been getting worse. I can just see the 60-point win now.
Purdue's about to score 150 points. All right. Okay, so moving on, the Super Bowl happened. Unfortunately, we were not correct in our predictions of the score. And also, I was not correct in my prediction of the winning team. So,
I was also not.
Yes, well, the team you predicted wasn't even in the Super Bowl, so we already knew that. But I did want to say that I'm happy that the Chiefs won, because Andy Reid won, and he was the Eagles coach for many years. So
right.
I'm happy that he won a Super Bowl. So congratulations to the Chiefs. All right. So speaking of football, this past weekend the XFL started. Actually, there's probably a game going on right now.
There was an hour ago.
Yeah, so the XFL started this weekend. I assume you didn't really see anything related to the XFL.
I've watched I haven't watched games, but I've watched some highlights from the games.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of each of the games yesterday, and I thought it was pretty decent. Afterwards, I mean, it didn't seem really that much different from the NFL.
Right.
So afterwards, I looked up what some of the rule changes were just to kind of gauge. And I didn't really see any rule changes that I was like, wow, this is a bad rule.
Right. I think one notable thing that I noticed in just watching, like I don't know the actual rules because I never looked anything up in depth. But one thing I noticed is that kickoffs are handled pretty differently.
Yes, that is the
in
biggest
the XFL.
thing. They tried to make kickoffs like an actual part of the game compared to in contrast to the NFL, which has been trying to make kickoffs less of a part of the game.
Right. So I don't. Maybe you can explain it a little bit. But the two things I noticed is number one, the two teams line up much closer to each other, with the exception of the person doing the kickoff and the person receiving the kick, which is obviously good for safety and such. You're not charging at each other the length of the field.
Right.
And second, the kick has to go beyond the 20-yard line. Otherwise, the other team gets the ball at your 45. Is that right?
That doesn't sound right. So okay. So the rules are what you said first is correct. The teams start 5 yards apart from each other.
Yeah.
On the 30 and 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But you can request to do a regular like onside kick attempt, like a regular onside kick where you would be 10 yards. But yes, for a normal kickoff, they would be 5 yards apart, except for the kicker and returner. None of the people except for the kicker and returner can move until either the ball is caught or 3 seconds after it hits the ground.
3 seconds. Interesting.
Yeah. There's two different types of touchbacks in the XFL. If you just kick it and it lands in the end zone in the air or goes out of the end zone in the air, that's called I forget which I think it's the major touchback. And in that case, the receiving team gets the ball on the 35-yard line, their own 35. Okay. And if it lands outside of the end zone but rolls into the end zone and then either goes out of bounds or the person kneels, then the ball comes out to the 15-yard line. So the idea is that you don't want the kicking team to purposely make a touchback, and you don't want the receiver to purposely get a touchback if it rolls in.
Right.
So you're right. If it goes out, if it doesn't go past the 20, I forgot the exact rule is. You might be right about that.
There's definitely something to do with that. That was one of the things that I noticed in the clips was that happened. The announcers were like, "Oh, we've been waiting for this because it's a rule change," and the ref was like, "Because this happened by rule, something else is about to happen," which wasn't anything I had heard of before, but I don't remember the details.
So if you remember, I don't know if you know, but in the NFL, if you kick the ball out of bounds, the other team, the receiving team, gets it at their own 40, and not kicking it past the 20 is considered the same thing in this league as kicking it out of bounds.
So the idea is just to kick it within a very specific region of the field so that it's much more, it's not just kick it as hard as you can.
Right.
And just effectively nothing is going to happen most of the time. You'll just put the ball somewhere next.
Yes. So.
Which is cool.
Yeah, but some of the other interesting rule changes are there's no regular kicking extra points. Instead, after the touchdown, you just go for a conversion, and the amount of points you get for it depends on how far away you are from the goal. So if you run it from the 2-yard line, it's worth 1 point. If you run it from the 5-yard line, it's worth 2 points. And if you run it from the 10-yard line, it's worth 3 points. Which makes games interesting because now you can get 9 points on a touchdown.
Right. I think that's a good change. Keeps the games interesting as long as they stay relatively close. There's more of a shot for both teams.
Right. So there's also new different overtime rules from the NFL. So if it goes into overtime, then it's called like a shootout. It's kind of like a shootout. So each team runs basically a 1-point conversion from the 2-yard line, and each team gets 5 tries. And whoever got more of them, whoever won more of them after 5 tries wins.
Right.
And if it's tied, then you just keep going until one person gets it and one doesn't.
I like that.
Yeah, and they play at opposite end zones, and the offenses and defenses stay on the field. So once one team goes, cool you don't have to run on and off the field every single play.
Right. I like that. That's good.
So that was another interesting thing. There's different timing rules under 2 minutes, which make it's kind of like college, where it's kind of like you know how in college after a first down they stop the clock while they can move the chains.
Yeah.
It's like that, but for every play. So after the 2-minute warning, after every play, the clock stops until the ball is spotted, even if you're tackled in bounds. And if you go out of bounds or incomplete pass, it just stops, just like it would in the NFL.
Right.
So, yeah, those are the main things. They have one referee whose only job is to spot the ball. So he can't throw penalties or anything, but their goal is to increase the spotter. And yeah, so those are the main rule things. Broadcast wise, they have the coach's microphone that he's calling plays on hardwired to the broadcast. You can hear exactly what he's saying, like to
Yeah.
the quarterback, which is interesting. Um,
I assume it's illegal for the other team to listen.
yeah, I would assume so. I don't know anything about that. I mean, it's all code. Like he'll be like, clown 52X. So it's not like
Yeah,
you would necessarily be able to tell what play it is,
sure.
but yeah, I would assume the other team wouldn't be allowed to see that. And then the replay review, it's completely transparent, so you can hear what the referees are saying during the review to hear their reasoning for what the call is, which I think a lot of
Yeah.
people liked.
Yeah,
So
that sounds really good.
yeah, so that's the XFL. Now that we've
One
spent
thing
10
I'm
minutes,
curious.
go ahead.
Well, okay. If you don't want to talk anymore about the XFL, that's fine.
Honestly, we don't
Um,
have much else to talk about, so go ahead.
Here we go then. So one thing I'm curious to see in the future, this will be kind of like a longer term observation. But like, will the star players in the XFL get called up into the NFL, do you think?
So the XFL has specifically tried to avoid being a minor leagues for the NFL.
Of
But
course, but
but they so so yes, I expect that players who play well in the XFL might get like calls to play in the NFL. Um, and the XFL's contract structure, I think all the contracts expire after 1 year. Excuse me. So you could just leave the XFL if the NFL wanted you.
yeah,
Um, but I think some people, I mean, obviously you would make more money in the NFL, but I
right.
think I think some people would maybe stick with the XFL for the purposes of actually getting to play all the time. Um, so
True.
anyway, but yeah, that will definitely happen, I expect, and probably vice versa. Players that get cut from the NFL might go play in the XFL. So yeah,
I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. I'm hoping that it turns out to be successful and we get both leagues sticking around and there's not some sort of like just merge in a few years. I don't know.
yeah, I don't think
I
there will
think
be a
it's
merge. One
right.
the main thing that I'm hoping for is that the XFL will implement like they've done with these rules, they'll implement more interesting rules and better rules, and that the NFL will see that and kind of, also have those rules. Like I think a lot of people are frustrated. Like I really expect in the next few years the NFL will have the transparent officiating thing that the XFL has done, because there's really no
Right.
reason for that the NFL can't do it. So
It's hard to defend not doing it, honestly. Like
yeah,
now,
yeah, so,
yeah, now that somebody has gone and done it, you've really got to wonder why the NFL wouldn't. So, yeah, no,
yes,
I hope that's the case too. That all of these good rules get bounced back and forth, and the games get more interesting to watch.
yep. So with that all said, let's do a prediction here. So the
Okay.
XFL, uh, it has enough funding right now for 3 years, I believe.
Okay.
So, uh, prediction: will the XFL last 5 years? Yes or no?
Whew, that's tough. After just
Also,
after just one weekend of games and
right. Also, side note: the original XFL lasted 1 year.
right, right. Um, I think, given the fact that they've got funds for 3 years, I think they'll be able to stretch it out to five because I think they're making a lot of good decisions rules wise. Um, the one hesitation I have is that a lot of the teams, many not all of the teams, but many of the teams are in big markets, which makes sense, but those markets also have NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been really cool to see teams in places that, don't also have an NFL team, so there's not a direct competition. I know the seasons are different, and I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to like start up a pro football team in North Dakota. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see stuff like that. That's the only reason where I'm, a little bit hesitant. Like they're all just in the same places with the same, established NFL fans, not necessarily latching on to them because they've got other stuff going on there.
Right.
So 5 years, I think, yeah, probably.
Agreed. And 10 years?
If they make it 5, why not 10, right? Like, so I think it'll be way easier to predict this after 5 years. But I want to be optimistic. We'll say, yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure. I can't really think of a scenario in which they last 5 years, but then not 10.
Yeah.
They'll be done before 5 years, or they'll be just kind of here.
Right.
So probably.
It's not something we've seen necessarily in the United States, two major leagues of the same sport coexisting. But it's definitely something I think that happens in different parts of the world with, I know soccer for sure.
Right.
Lots of countries have different tiers of professional sports, and it makes sense to me that the XFL wouldn't want to be seen as like the minor league NFL, but like I feel like it pretty much perfectly fits that role, and that's not a bad thing to me. So
Right. Yep. All right. So that is sports. So if you're still listening,
our
you're
very
probably,
short sports update, which we have said in the past we're going to aim for.
yeah. If you're still listening, you're either probably like the NFL, I mean like football, or yeah, I guess that's the only, or you really like us. But
Right. Based on what I know of our listeners, one of those two things is true for each of them. So
yep. All right.
I think we're in good shape.
All right. So why don't we head up to the next topic, which is getting paid to do stuff. So why don't you introduce this topic?
All right, let me do a really bad job of explaining this.
All right.
So
Good.
we are both now in the workforce. We have been getting paid a respectable amount of money for 7 or 8 months now each. And as such, I speaking for myself at least, I have come to appreciate the amount of money that my time is worth. So therefore, when considering whether or not I would perform other tasks for menial wages, I tend to think that if I were offered, for example, $3 an hour to sit at home and watch YouTube videos, which is something that I do fairly frequently, I like to think that on principle I would decline that offer because that is far less than what I feel my time's worth. However, obviously, getting paid any amount of money versus getting paid no money is a good thing. So I'm not exactly sure where to fall on this issue, and I think you have more concrete views.
Yeah,
So
I really don't understand your position, honestly. Like intellectually, I understand the words you're saying, but
right.
logically speaking, your position doesn't really make sense to me. I would definitely accept getting paid any amount of money to do any of the things that I like watch TV or watch, YouTube or whatever. So
So let's try this. I'll take a bit of a firmer stance and say that my time is worth more than $3 an hour, and if you try and pay me that in order to tell me what to do, even if it's something that I wouldn't mind doing without pay, I'm going to, on principle, refuse. So, with that assumption, then, I want to ask you, where is your line? Like, let's make up some numbers. Let's say, for your day job, you make $50 an hour, or, the equivalent of that, whatever it is. Same, but so, okay. But that's the idea, right? So, like,
right.
your time has been established by a company for something you don't want to do, $50 an hour.
Sure.
And presumably you come home and you want to then do what you want to do.
Right.
You don't want to be constrained by somebody in your time off, because if your time off was not valuable, nobody would bother to pay you so much money for your work hours.
Right.
So, keeping all of that in mind, if you came home every night from work and somebody was like, if you spend all of your time watching Netflix, I'll pay you $3 an hour.
So, let me ask you something which actually may change my original view.
Okay.
Is the scenario that they will pay me $3 for every hour I watch Netflix, and that's it? Or am I required to watch Netflix a certain amount in order for them to actually pay me?
Right. I think the original spirit of the question refers to the first version, where however many hours you watch Netflix, for each of those hours, you'll be paid $3.
Sure. So then, of course, I would accept.
Right. So maybe the more interesting debate, that makes sense. The more interesting debate then is they're like, 2 hours a night, $3 an hour, watch Netflix.
So if any night I don't watch 2 hours of Netflix, do I just get fired and the offer's gone, so I have to keep watching Netflix?
I mean, I guess. Otherwise, it feels a whole lot like the first version, doesn't it?
Right.
Where you can just choose whether or not to watch.
Like, honestly, $3 an hour is so, like, pitiful.
Right.
That, like, if I stopped doing it, I probably wouldn't really care. Like, okay, I guess my point is that I make enough money, like, from my normal job, that somebody paying or not paying me $3 an hour for a few hours every day is, like, really I don't really care that much. So I would probably accept their offer, and then if I ever was like, man, I really just don't want to watch Netflix, I would just stop. So
I think then that you're kind of agreeing with the spirit of my answer while also saying, like, money is money, right? So, like, the spirit of the answer is, like, my time is not worth $3 an hour. $3 an hour is not enough to dictate what I do with my time. If you're going to pay me and I was going to do it anyway, then I will take your money. But if I choose to not do that, then $3 an hour is not nearly enough to get me to, like, change my behavior in order to do it.
So yeah, I agree with that. But your position, so I agree with you there. I feel like the only disagreement then is I felt like from your original, what you were saying was that you would, like, be kind of like, you would, I don't know if offended is the right word, but like it would be like, wow, I can't believe you would offer me what?
Yeah, kind of offended.
Yeah, I wouldn't be offended if somebody offered me $3 an hour to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
So, okay, so are you changing your position then to agree with me where in the first scenario you would decline? I mean, you
And
would not you would accept. My position is I
I
would
mean,
accept in the first scenario.
yeah, realistically, yeah, there's no reason to not accept there because you're still just making the decisions for what you will or won't do, and
Right.
then sometimes you just get some extra money, I guess.
Yeah. So all right. I think we're in agreement. And the so okay. So here's a couple follow-ups. First off, is how much would somebody have to offer to pay you to do something you already wanted to do
Yeah.
for 3 hours every night?
So that this is now the second scenario where if I don't do that every night, I no longer get that money,
Right.
and so
Like, how much would somebody have to offer you for you to come home and be like, man, I don't really want to watch any more YouTube tonight, but I do want the money, so I'll still do it.
right. Um,
Doesn't have
that's
to
an
be an
interesting
exact number,
question.
just a ballpark.
Yeah. I feel like somewhere between I don't know. So okay, so I don't want to say minimum wage because minimum wage is like okay, it goes back to like I make more than that now. So I don't think that that's what my time is worth. On the other hand, getting paid minimum wage for 3 hours a night to do something that I like doing, that adds up to a pretty reasonable amount of money. And so, yeah, why not? But at the same time, I'm trying to say like maybe $10 an hour, $20 an hour because those feel more right. But like
Right.
I can't really justify that over like $8. Like the difference between $10 an hour and $8 an hour doesn't make that big a difference because
I mean, if you're doing it for 3 hours, if you're doing it for what, 15 hours a week, that's
yeah,
that's $30 a week. That's not nothing.
it's not nothing, but it's
I'm
it's
saying it's
kind of
I'm saying it's reasonable to distinguish between $8 an hour and $10 an hour. It sounds like your
sure.
opinion was I want to say 10, but I don't have any reason why I would say that over 8. And I'm saying there is a reason. It's $2 an hour.
Yeah, I mean you're right, but it's I'm kind of struggling to articulate this. Like it's not like you're getting more money either way, right? Like getting $30 less a week is the same thing as saying you're getting uh 120. Is that what 8 times 15 is? It
Uh,
totally is. Yeah,
yep.
$120 a week versus $150 a week. Yeah, that should have been a lot easier. I should have done the 10 times 15 and then subtracted 30. um, we got there. So
There's a
like,
kid, just to interrupt, there's a kid that I'm mentoring right now, and that's what he in third grade, that's what he's doing in math. Is like what's 9 times 9? Oh, well, let's do 9 times
yeah.
10 and subtract 9. All right. Anyway, continue.
Um, are you smarter than a third grader?
Apparently
Do you
not.
remember that show? Anyway, so like saying $8 an hour is $2 an hour less than $10 an hour. Yeah, sure. But like $120 a week versus $150 a week, like both of those sound pretty good to me because I'm doing something that I want to do by definition, and
Right. So okay. So
Maybe
you're
some
saying
days I feel like doing it less. Some days I feel like doing it more. I don't know,
so
$100 a week? That seems pretty good. $50 a week? That seems pretty good. I
so
feel like
you're
we're getting right down to the $3 an hour range when once you really think about it.
you're if you're accepting $50 a week, then you're almost accepting $3 an hour.
No, you're totally right. I think this was framed the the question was very, I don't want to say misleading, but it led me to think in one way, which was for an hour of work you're getting compensated a relatively small amount of money, whereas if you think about it as like each week for basically no reason, because this is something you would have been doing, somebody's just going to give you $20,
So I
and that sounds okay.
so
That's way less than $3 an hour, but that seems fine still,
that's less
right?
than $2 an hour. All right. Well,
But does that you?
I guess now we flipped positions because
It turns out I'll do anything for any amount of money, I guess.
because well, not anything you want to do.
Anything I already wanted to do for any amount of money. You're right.
Yeah, that was my original position, but now that we've introduced the whole like you have to do it or you just stop getting the money,
Yeah,
I'm a little bit less inclined to do it
interesting.
because actually, yeah, so I definitely would not like for $3 an hour, I might do it for like a week or two and then I would probably stop is what would
Just
happen for
the
me.
first time you didn't feel like doing it, you'd be like, whatever, I'm not
Right,
going to do it.
right. And is that do you agree with that or you would just
I
keep doing
don't
it?
agree with that. The first time I didn't feel like doing it, I would think, well, in the past week, sure, I only got paid $3 for the entire week's worth of work. But if I just get through this one day of not really feeling like doing it, there's a lot of potential money in the future for something that I would have already wanted. Like I feel like it would take an extended period of me going like, no, I really don't want to do this
Right.
in order for me to stop. Like, I think having not the tiniest amount of compensation, but something above like $5 a week.
Okay, so right, so okay, so we are in disagreement again. So
Yes.
personally, like I guess maybe this has to do with our habits, but I really like I said before, the amount of money that amount of money is really not enough for me to care.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't really do the same thing. There's nothing that I would want to guarantee that I do $3 at 3 hours a day every day
Yeah.
that I would be willing for that amount of money. Now, so what amount of money would I be willing to do it for?
That's the question.
Right. So, huh. So $8 to $10 an hour, probably still not.
Really? That's a
Yeah,
lot of money. That's
it's
$120 per week.
okay. I feel a little bit weird kind of like saying this, but I don't like need more money. Like I guess from a financial perspective, any more money I get now, I can just invest or whatever, and then retire early or whatever, or donate to someone. But like,
Right.
I feel like I make enough money to be satisfied and just kind of get whatever I want. Okay, not whatever I want, but like, oh, within reason, whatever I
But
want.
yeah, I mean, like you're not sitting there thinking my life would dramatically improve with another fifty
Right.
dollars a
Like
week.
even like if I earned like an extra like yeah. So how much money would it take? See, that's the thing. If I don't really care about getting much more money, is there any amount of money that I would accept to do that? I mean, there has to be, right? Like if somebody paid
There
me a mil-
absolutely is for
if
me. I
somebody paid
mean,
me $1 million an hour to watch Netflix for 3 hours a night, there's no way I would decline that. So
so let's have an upper cap as well, because I think that is getting into the realm of, oh, you just quit your job, watch 3 hours of Netflix a day, get paid $3 million a day, and then
Right.
presumably spend as much money as you wanted for the entire rest of the day, because there's no way you would ever run out of money at that point.
So,
So
okay.
let's cap this. You're in no way is the amount of money you receive like livable. Like you're capped out at like 10 grand a year.
Okay. So 10 grand a year is the most. Assuming you do this for 15 hours a week, just doing some quick math here.
You
I,
looked at me like you wanted me to do math in my
well,
head, and that's
I was
ridiculous.
I actually was looking at my computer like I was gonna do it on my computer, but
Oh, I see.
but then I just decided to be easier on my phone.
If you
So
know what weekly wage you would need to receive for 15 hours a week in order to receive $10,000 every year, please email us with the answer so that we don't have to do this math right
I
now.
just did the math.
Still
So
email us because, we'll check. We'll double check.
assuming, yeah,
Um,
still email us though. So assuming there's no taxes involved, that's 12.82 an hour.
okay.
Assuming there's no taxes involved and there's no days off. So I really don't think that I would do it for 12.82 an hour.
Interesting.
Like I
So
would
there,
I would I would do it for a little while, but I think after 12.82 an hour, I would probably last longer than a week or two.
yeah,
But after a few months, I think I would probably just eventually stop.
it's really strange. I think I think knowing that whatever the number was weekly, that it was turning into $10,000 a year, that would be enough for me
Let me ask
to
you
say
this.
like,
You maybe don't have to answer this fully if you don't want to, but what would you do with an extra $10,000 a year?
so I have a lot of expensive hobbies, I think. Um, by which I mean I don't have very specific hobbies. So when I see stuff that I want to do, I would like to just buy stuff in order to do it. And that may or may not be like a good long term investment. So it may not make sense for me to spend a bunch of money on it. Let me give you an example because I feel like having said that sentence that it didn't make very much sense. For a couple weeks ago now, um, I stumbled across this YouTube channel. It's called ClickSpring. I highly recommend it to anybody, but it was especially appealing to me. What it is this Australian guy who narrates himself making things out of metal in his home machine shop. And it's very satisfying for me at least, it's very satisfying to watch chunks of metal get turned into something that looks very good, and it's a very interesting process. So I've been watching these like 10 to 12 minute videos of him making a clock from scratch. It's
Right.
pretty amazing. Um, and I would definitely like to buy those sorts of tools and just a bunch of random metal and spend some time making stuff like that. I've got some experience with those things. But I don't think it necessarily makes sense for me right now, at least definitely it does not make sense to buy like, you know, a lathe, which
Right.
probably weighs 2,000 pounds and would take up far too much space in my studio apartment.
I'm thinking
Um,
that 10K a year is not going to be enough for that hobby.
no, it totally would be because you've got several $1,000s up front for all the tools. but then it's kind of just like a steady stream of moderate expense for materials and things.
Right. No,
Which
okay.
$10,000 would totally fund.
Right.
And
I get that. I was just thinking that the machines would cost more, but I don't really have any concept of how much those machines cost, so I may be wrong.
okay, so like I mean like yeah, like professional shop quality machines are very expensive, but you can also get like relatively light duty ones for several hundred to a couple $1,000s, and that
Right.
would be almost certainly enough for me. I'd probably buy another 3D printer, maybe a couple other 3D printers for again several $1,000s, and not feel bad because that's roughly the amount of money I'm getting.
Right.
You know, things like that that I have and want to do better. I'd buy a new piano. I'm just kind of looking around my apartment now at things that, that I need. Like I was telling you before we started recording, I'm planning to buy a new keyboard and mouse for my computer instead of just these ones that I had sitting around.
Uh-huh.
That's like $100 maybe, but I'm not just gonna do it right now because that's, relative to what I spend in a month, that's a noticeable percentage. But if I knew I had an extra $10,000 of spending money, then it'd be things like that that would just it would happen quicker for me. I think that would it wouldn't I wouldn't it's not life changing money. It's just allows me to do things more impulsively.
Right. I got you.
Would be pretty exciting, I think.
All right. Wow.
But yeah, so that was my longer than expected monologue on that. So I do want to throw in there because we haven't mentioned it yet. For those of you that listen to the podcast and actually managed to listen to that entire thing, I don't know if it was interesting or not. Please let us know. Also, send us your thoughts. I'd love to hear some other takes on this, especially because ours turned out to be more or less pretty similar, but
Yeah,
we're in pretty
how
similar
much would somebody have to
positions.
pay you to do something, a specific thing that you would already be doing for
Right,
3 hours a night? I
right.
guess I guess if you're not working, it may be a little different, but
Yeah, that'd be good to see. Interesting to hear from all sorts of people. So yeah, send us an email, ask your friends, and have them also send us emails,
yep.
or you can send us emails on their behalf, uh,
If you're
or you
wondering,
can just make up fake data and send us that in emails. That would be pretty interesting as well. You can make brand new email accounts and just email us from those accounts. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
by the way,
whatever.
we haven't actually said our email yet, so if you're not sure, you can visit our website, which is alexandalex at joelthepodcast .github.io/alexandalex at joelthepodcast.website. And there's a link on there to email us, so please do that.
Right. I assure you that going to that website and clicking the link is much easier and faster than typing in our actual email.
Yes.
So,
Also, I presume you have not implemented the button that people can press on there to give us a validation.
I haven't. I've been there were like one or two times this week where I actually thought about that problem, didn't do any research, and didn't really do any speculation that was wildly unfounded either. So basically, I was just like, "Huh, that's something that I wanted to do," and then
That was it.
that was it. So
Nice.
if you know how we might implement something like that, please
Send us the
visit our website.
send send us the 5 lines of code that it would take so we don't have to figure them out ourselves.
Yeah, I will. If we receive any amount of HTML or JavaScript to our inbox, I will copy it and paste it onto our website without any sort of validation. So
That sounds like I feel like there's some way that could be exploited, but I can't think of it.
it's like code injection, but backwards and
It's code injection, but it's
not
not a
on our
hack.
hardware.
It's code injection, but it's not a hack. It's just us putting it in the website.
Just complete incompetence on our part.
What do you think the
Um,
worst? What do you think the worst thing someone could actually do with that is? Like, probably the worst thing they could do is take down the website, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they just sent us bad syntax and I just pasted it into the files without bothering to do anything, if it was if it was HTML, it just if whatever they sent us was bad, it just wouldn't render
Right.
because that's how websites, web browsers display things.
You know, I think the
Uh,
worst thing they
they
could do.
could send us some CSS and like change how it looks, make it all gross. I mean, it's artistic now. They could make it really bad.
I think the worst thing they could do is set up the counter, but instead of increasing the number every time somebody clicked on it, it just went to a random number. But but it tended to be like negative numbers.
Yeah,
So it would just made us feel bad because it seemed like some people were voting us down.
right. They could implement just a thumbs down feature so that people could
Honestly,
go to our website and click a button to dislike our podcast.
honestly, the worst thing would just be a button, but it doesn't do anything. The number's just constantly at -1 because it's like we got no attention, and the one person who did decide to go there and click it gave us a negative rating. Like, I feel like if you get a high magnitude negative number, it's like, oh
Yeah,
well, at least there's a lot of people like going to the website and stuff. But just -1, I think that's the worst one.
that would be pretty brutal because it would be believable.
Yep.
Any big number, positive or negative, I'm just gonna be like, there's no way that that's real. Somebody just is screwing around. But like -1 or -2 or something like that, I'd be like, ouch.
Yeah,
I
I think I
definitely
might.
know there's that many people that listen, and somebody went through the effort to make it clear that they wanted us to have a negative number.
Somebody wrote HTML and JavaScript enough to give us a negative. They didn't just dislike our videos or send us a mean email. They specifically put an effort to writing code to making us feel bad.
To display on our website so that everyone else, the other person that went to our website would also
I was
know.
gonna say the entire world, but you're right.
uh, I'm actually now that we've talked about it, I'm inspired right now to do some research to figure out how we could do this. But we're also still podcasting, so that would the discussion quality would go down real fast if I was also trying to like learn some programming at the same time. So
Yep. So we
instead of
would
that,
never
we'll move on to our next pre-planned topic, which of
we would
course,
never do that to our listeners. We only put out the highest quality content.
absolutely
All right.
anything that would yeah,
So speaking of the highest quality content, let's wing some questions here.
let's do
Um,
it. Here we go.
so I'm scrolling through Ask Reddit. We actually don't have a ton of time to fill in left, but um, so this is kind of related to our money thing. In May 2018, Jeff Bezos made around $191,000 a minute. If you were given his bank card and given 10 hours to spend, how would you ensure that when you gave the card back, his balance had decreased from when you received it? So, um, so first of all, we have to figure out how much money that is. It's Hold on, just doing some quick math here on my calculator. Okay, so it's 114.6 million. So the question is, how can you
114.6 million per
no over
what
the over
hour?
the
Okay,
the entire 10 hours. So the idea is you have 10
okay.
hours, and you have to lower the amount over those 10 hours. And so the bottom line is he's going to make 100 and whatever I just said million over those 10 hours. So you have to spend at least 1 cent more than that amount.
Okay.
So what are your initial thoughts on how you would spend that much money in 10 hours?
That doesn't seem that hard. 100 and something million dollars and I've
Yeah.
got 10 hours.
Yep.
Okay, actually, let me rephrase that. That does seem a little bit tricky because I can't just like go on Amazon and order $100 million worth of stuff quickly
Right.
necessarily. Like
I wonder.
I need to be really efficient and I need to guarantee that I make a purchase.
All right.
So
I'm going on
my
Amazon
first
here.
thought, all right, while you do that, my first thought is I would go to a car dealership and like a expensive one, like a fancy one, and just buy a bunch of cars because that
Yeah.
is a sale that you can close in 10 hours. That I mean, maybe not because they need to like check you out, and be like,
Right. I wonder
you're
if they
showing
would
up
do
with this
that.
card. I don't, that'd be, I mean, that would be extremely suspicious. Like, there's no way that I could show up.
All right.
So if I just like have his physical credit card, or do I have like, are people going to question me that like I, a random person, have this card with access to a bunch of money, or is it just assumed that I have the necessary authority to spend money? I just need to figure out how to spend the money,
The
or
scenario
what?
is the scenario is not any different than if you than you just coming into possession of this card with no explanation. Well, no explanation that anyone other than Jeff Bezos knows about. So
Right.
like if I mean, would they be suspicious? I guess that depends upon the people. I mean,
Yeah.
probably I guess I mean the thing is how much do you tell them? Like if you go in and say, "Yeah, I need to buy all your cars." That that
All-
that would probably I don't know if you could do that in 10 hours, but you might be able to just go to many different dealerships.
yeah.
But I feel like it takes like at least
There's
an hour to buy a car. You probably couldn't. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't been able to do it like that.
right.
Honestly, like if you just
You need to buy a few incredibly expensive things.
right,
I
and
don't
the thing
how easy is it to buy a boat? How to buy a boat. How to buy a boat. A complete guide to boat shopping. Choose the right boat type for your needs. High
hmm,
performance boats. No, no, no. Motor yachts? Multi-hull power boats? What's the most expensive type of boat that you can just buy and not like get
some kind of yacht.
custom built?
Let me ask you this.
It's,
How many items do you think you could buy on Amazon per hour?
um, if I've
Probably
just got to enter in a credit card, a lot, right? Like it'd be pretty. I've
right.
never tried to order a ton of really expensive stuff, but
So,
assume they don't have like my biggest worry, honestly. This doesn't seem very difficult, except for all of the people who are going to be like, you are spending too much money all at once. This is like Jeff Bezos's bank is going to be like, this is fraud.
okay,
I
assume
am going to not
forget
allow
about
these
what the
transactions to go.
just assume the bank is aware of this. Like don't worry about that.
Oh, so the bank's cool with it?
Yeah, imagine that the bank is fine with like the bank knows that your job is to spend all this money. So
Okay.
so the trick is finding something expensive enough that you can actually buy in 10 hours or several expensive things. So so the reason I asked about Amazon is because I just searched Amazon for Rolex and then sorted from price highest to lowest.
Okay.
And on this first page here, I'd say the average price of things on this page are probably like $20,000.
Yikes, really?
Yeah. And it looks like, let's see, just ballparking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe like, I don't know, 50 items on this page. And some of them have multiple things you could, like, multiple in stock. So let's say average 2 in stock, although it looks like it might be slightly higher than 2, but let's say average 2. So that's like 100. But that's like nothing. That's like
You've reached like $1 million
that's like
there.
$200,000. It's not even a million. It's like, so yeah, I guess the Amazon route's probably out of the question. Like, it'd probably take.
We're forgetting the most important thing. If we spend our money at Amazon, it just goes back to Jeff Bezos.
I feel like
Directly into his bank account. That's how Amazon works, right?
yeah, it doesn't go directly in his bank account, so I think it still would. I think it still would count.
All right, let's see. On eBay,
If I search for a yacht, can I buy a yacht on Amazon? No. Presumably. What else is expensive that you might be able to buy on Amazon? Diamond. I'm just gonna search diamond.
oh no, that's a good idea. You could go to a jeweler's and buy everything they have, and probably that's only a few $1,000,000. Man, I thought this was going to be very easy. Like, I thought this would not be a challenge.
What?
But $100 million is a stupid amount of money.
The first item on here is $25,000 when I search diamond. The second item is $11.
Oh man.
Oops.
Oh, that's not right.
Oops. I feel like, okay. I feel like it would be possible to continuously continuously find things that are worth around $20,000 on Amazon. So, solid gold. If you can buy, I feel like we need to put an actual number on it. If you put an actual number on it, how many things do you think you could buy on Amazon in 10 hours?
I think the limiting factor would be how quickly I could think of things to buy.
Right.
So, assuming you have time to plan out in advance, I think the actual effort of buying, you could like add a crazy number of items to your cart of the same so if you you can go to a thing and add a bunch of it to your cart in like 30 seconds.
Do you think you
That's
can
my
buy? Okay, I just searched. I just calculated. You would have to
A
buy.
lot of math in this episode.
You would have to buy 5,730 items on Amazon, assuming you could find items averaging $20,000 each. Do you think you could buy 5,700 things on Amazon in 10 hours?
Okay, so that's 570 per hour, which is a little bit less than 10 per minute.
I don't know if that's possible.
Like putting another thing in your cart every 6 seconds. And then at the end, assume you have like an instant to check out and all of your settings are saved and stuff because you prepped that. A new thing in your cart every 6 seconds, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, so I guess the
All
Amazon
right,
route
let's
out.
let's do this scientifically. Let's come up with 10 things, a list of 10 things that I can buy on Amazon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for each of them, like by keyword in their search bar, and then add one to my cart. And we're gonna time how quickly I can get all 10 of those things in my cart. And then we'll see how long that takes. So what are 10 things that I can put in my Amazon cart? My first one is obviously going to be a Rolex.
Well, the thing is, okay. So sure, Rolex, diamond ring, easy one.
I'm not concerned with picking out like the most expensive thing either. I'm just trying to stick with the theme. So like if there's something easy you can think of just so we can crank out 10 things real quick.
Well,
Definitely an Alexa. Here's what I'll do. I'll try and put 100 Alexas in my cart.
100 Alexas,
The whatever they call it, the
like Echoes.
Echo, yeah. And then you call it. If you search Alexa on Amazon, it probably knows what you mean, right? 100 Echoes. Okay.
Yeah, Echoes
If
are.
you can't put 100 of something in your cart, I'll put however many you can. But I just want to try and change the quantity for one of these things.
It's kind of inefficient, but anyway.
I'll buy it. I'm not going for like outright price here. I'm assuming we would have done better research and got more expensive things. I'm just trying
Okay.
to think of things quickly so that this isn't like a 10-minute section of the podcast where we're just saying, like thinking of stuff. All right. Also, iPhone. I'll put an
Sure.
iPhone in the cart.
Gaming computer.
Gaming computer. Gaming computer. Okay. That's 5 things. I need 5 more things. What are some
Okay.
other expensive? Probably some expensive clothes. What's a good clothes brand?
Gucci.
Gucci clothes, Gucci something. I'll just search whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Um, let's see. What are some other expensive things you've got? Like computers and clothes and fashion accessories.
How about a big TV?
Big TV. All right, I'll search for TV. That's a good one because it's just 2 things to type. Two letters. I mean,
I'm just ballparking prices for all of these. Wow. I searched 4K giant smart TV,
yeah.
and I sorted price high to low. How much do you think the most expensive? The title of this entry is LG Signature OLED 88Z 9PUA Alexa built-in Z9 88-inch 8K Ultra HD Smart OLED TV. How much do you think it costs?
Wow, 88-inch. Did you say 8K?
8K.
Uh, $12,000.
$30,000.
Yikes! All right,
Anyway,
that's a
continue.
pretty efficient thing to do anyway.
Well, which
Um,
Yeah. I mean, there's only one of them left. The thing is, what you really want is something that's expensive and there's a lot of.
right.
But anyway,
I'm
that's
not
just
worried
something.
about that for this particular
Right.
experiment, but
Sure.
you're right. Um, can you buy like kitchen appliances? Like if I search fridge,
Refrigerator.
it's probably a
Yep, you
couple
can buy a
$1,000,
refrigerator.
right?
You can buy a
Okay,
ref-
that's on the list. We've got 8 things. We need two more expensive things. What's really expensive? I'm looking around my apartment like I own expensive things, and um,
How about an instrument? How about a piano?
oh yeah, can you buy a piano on Amazon? Probably.
Yep. I mean, you can buy a keyboard. That's what I bought mine.
Sure. Yeah, I
All
mean,
right. Most
okay.
expensive piano, $38,000. So
Wow, what is it? Out of curiosity.
it's a baby grand, and it's clear. It's actually pretty.
Clear?
Oh, and it's self-playing. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, just Google piano and sort highest to lowest price, and you'll see it.
Wow, that is really interesting.
Anyway, all right, what's left?
I
How
don't
many do we have
recognize
left?
what I expected. That's 9 things. We just need one more.
All right, how about a popsicle?
A popsicle. All right,
Yep.
that's a good one to round out the list. Popsicle. So just to recap, we've got a piano, a Rolex, diamond ring, 100 Echoes, an iPhone, a gaming computer, Gucci, whatever it is that comes up first, a TV, a fridge, and a popsicle. That's 10 things. Are you ready to start the clock?
Not just yet. Give me 1 second here.
Okay, I'm getting back to the Amazon homepage to make sure I'm ready to go. I'm not actually signed in, which is good. I won't
All right.
accidentally buy $20,000 worth of stuff by mistake.
All
All
right, I'm
right,
ready.
let me know when to go.
Ready, set, go.
God, I'm so bad at typing. All right. I missed the enter key 3 times. Add to cart. Get out of here. No. I don't want all this warranty. No. Rolex. I can tell this is going very poorly. All right. Add to cart. That was a good one though. That was 60 grand. Diamond ring. Click. Add to cart. Echo. Echo. That was a 4-letter word that I took. These are all shoes. What's going on? I don't know,
You should have
but we're
typed
just going with
Alexa.
it. Add to cart. Add to cart. Add to cart. Why isn't it adding to cart? This is so slow. I need to select a size. Oh man. All right. 6.5. We're getting 106.5 shoes. Wow, these are $99 shoes. Add to cart. That's crazy. All right. Cart. I need to go to my cart now so that I can get 100 of those. 10 plus. That is the option. 100. Update. Okay. The seller only has 3 available. We're sticking with 3. This is going poorly. iPhone. Here we go. iPhone. Add to cart. No, I don't want the warranty for the iPhone. Get out of here. Gaming, computer. I totally spelled computer wrong, but some stuff came up, so we're adding one of those to cart. Cart. Nope, don't care. Wrong button. Gucci. The first thing that comes up for Gucci is another watch, and it's $300, so we're adding that to our cart. Don't want the 4-year protection program, even though that probably helps out with the price. TV. We're going with this $149 32-inch TCL TV because it was the first one that came up.
Nice.
Obviously, we were going to go for more expensive ones for the real deal, but I did click to add the extended warranty on that one. So
Smart.
got an extra $9 out of that. So when I searched fridge, more clothes came up. I think I'm shopping in a department instead of all of Amazon by mistake. But popsicle. I also spelled fridge totally wrong. Yeah, this is a skirt with popsicles on it. Adding that to cart. All right, time. That's 10 things.
2 minutes 34 seconds.
All right. Our cart total though, this is important because I think we were counting on what, $20,000 out of that 10 thing purchase. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, no, we said
per.
20. Yeah, I bet you could find things that are $20,000 per item.
So okay, so what I'm getting at is my cart total is now $70,926.25, and
All right.
I think based on what you just said, it should be something more like $200,000.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. In a real version of this, you would search
Yeah.
diamond ring, sort price highest to lowest, and then just put every single item on the page, however many there were in your cart.
Okay.
So.
All right. There's some slight efficiency gains to be had here, but let me tell you, that was stressful. And
Imagine doing that for 10 hours straight.
doing that for 10 hours straight. I have come to the conclusion that it is not possible to spend $100 million on Amazon in 10 hours.
Sure.
How do I get all this stuff out of my cart? I also really wish that I didn't accidentally switch to like the fashion department. I feel like I could have got more money out of an actual fridge than this $60 mini fridge for makeup and skincare products.
Mm-hmm. Price decreasing.
All right. There we go. Delete, 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 delete.
Okay, so
Times.
I wonder if it'd be possible to buy this yacht in 10 hours. So I
Is it
just searched.
$100 million yacht?
It's $332 million.
Oh, all right.
It's not available for sale to U.S. residents. Never mind.
What about a plane?
Buy a plane. Let's see. This plane is 149,000. It's not very much. I don't know.
Wow, so we need to buy 1,000 of them to.
Well, I don't know if that's just the first one I found. I don't really know enough about planes to search this website correctly. What about this one? Let's look at this. Oh, see if I can buy a 787. How much does that cost? There we go. This is $122 million. Again, I wonder if you could buy this in 10 hours.
So, with access to that much money, so I think Jeff Bezos could buy one in 10 hours.
Yeah,
I
but
think the trick of this is we don't really have those sorts of resources, even though we have all of the money.
By the way, can you imagine earning $114 million every 10 hours?
No, that's the more I've tried to think of things that we could spend that money on in order to like lose it, the more ridiculous it is that anybody can make that amount of money.
Right.
That's I mean,
It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
that's insane. That's beyond usable for a person.
Do you think any, I mean, suppose they must, right? Do you think anyone would accept a donation, like any charity would accept a donation of that
Uh,
much money?
yeah, assuming no, like I said before, assuming the banks are cool with it, maybe that's the
Like
way
it,
to go.
you would
You
have to
just call up
you would have to call
a
up a charity
charity.
and be like, I have access to a nearly unlimited amount of money, and I would like to donate $150 million to your charity, but it
Right.
has to be done in 10 hours. Like, do you think they would like agree to that? That seems really shady.
It's a pretty suspicious sounding request,
Like, I
but
feel like someone might call the police if you did that. If
yeah.
hmm.
Uh, it's almost so. This is edging toward, I don't know, political in some ways maybe, but like, why isn't Jeff Bezos doing this?
Why isn't he just spending obscene amounts of money on
No.
random things?
Giving obscene amounts of money to charity because it literally it wouldn't impact him.
Right.
He could just give like $1 million a day. Sounds super generous, right? But like that's nothing based on the numbers we're going by right now.
Right.
It's not a noticeable difference. It is smaller than the difference between 70 and 69.
That is a reference to one of our highlight clips in case you are out of the loop.
Very old podcast joke.
Jeez. His net worth is 114 billion. That's like unfathomable. It's impossible to conceptualize that amount of money.
Yeah. Given that there's just no reasonable thing to spend all that money on.
Okay, so I'm looking at... Hold on a second. No thanks. Wait. Okay. Sorry, I just gotta... I'm trying to find out how much money Jeff Bezos... Because obviously he's donated some money. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
So it looks like in... when was this article written? 2018, Jeff Bezos donated $2 billion to charity. So I guess he is donating obscene amounts of money to charity.
That's good. All right, it feels like we've run out of steam.
Yeah, and we're like way over time, so...
Oh boy, this is going to be one of those episodes.
If you had to guess, how long would you say we've been podcasting for?
Hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, almost spot on. Good
Nice.
job. All right, so yeah, if you're still listening, good job. Send us an email, visit our website.
If you send us an email, we will send you $150 million of Jeff Bezos' money.
We will send you $2 billion. Okay.
We nailed it.
We will send you 100 Amazon Echoes.
Except it's actually going to be 3 pairs of shoes.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please email us. Oh, real quick, Olive Garden quote. Did you hear me?
Are you asking me?
Do you have any ideas?
I'm going to look up Jeff Bezos quotes. Talk for 2 minutes.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm kind of, talking about this kind of makes me wonder what I would do if I were in his position. Like, how would you, what would you do if you had that, like, hundreds of billions of dollars? Because, like, honestly, you can always talk about, like, I would, pay for all my friends' crap and I would live in a mansion, blah, blah, blah. But that's, like, not even a small dent into that kind of money. Like, I feel like the sheer, like, knowledge that I had that much money might paralyze me. Like, what can I possibly do with this money? And the thing for Jeff Bezos is he keeps getting more. It's not like he has $150 billion and that's how much money he has. He just makes billions and billions more every year, which is even more absurd. So, yeah, I feel like just any time you were like, oh, I guess I'll just go out to lunch and, leave a $30,000 tip. That's like pocket change. That's like what I would leave on the floor of my car. Like 30,000. Let's say $100,000 just because it's an easier number. That's like 0.001% of his net worth. right?
So $100,000 to Jeff Bezos is like a cent to me, or a tenth of a cent.
I don't know what I wonder what my net worth is. I guess I know how much money I have. What about assets? Yeah, it's not that much. So like,
I'm just ballparking like $10,000 for me.
yeah, that's got to be like a tenth of a cent.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could literally change someone's life by giving them a tenth of a cent.
Why wouldn't I do that?
Imagine if you could pay someone's salary with 1 cent. If you gave them 1 cent, you would be paying them, they would become a millionaire.
Oh man.
That's
I
absurd.
Yeah. All right. We'll close out this episode with the quote: "Strip malls are history here in the middle of this Olive Garden."
Nice. All
Yep.
right. So thanks for listening to this extra long episode, everybody. I guess I was gonna say we'll be posting the commercial soon, but by the time this is posted, the commercial will be posted. So go watch our
Go
commercial.
watch it
Funny.
again.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm
Don't
Alex.
forget to like and comment and subscribe. And I'm Alex.
I feel like I keep trying to end it, but I keep I keep trying to end it, but every time I say thanks for listening, but then I say something anyway. Thanks for listening. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been Joel.